Paisanos, it's the
Excuse me, princess.
Super Show!
Hi, and welcome to the Excuse Me, Princess Super Show. I'm Aaron,
I'm John.
and we are watching the Legend of Zelda and the Super Mario Super Show in air date release order, from start to finish, because we really want to have a podcast that is more than 13 episodes long. If you are wanting to watch along with us, watch this episode at either Amazon Prime, in Canada at least,
The Wild Brain Superheroes YouTube channel.
time travel back to 1989 on September 19th,
Bring a bunch of fresh tapes with you, would you? That would really help us a lot.
or you can also buy the DVD,
Available at your local Goodwill,
if you're lucky.
if you're lucky.
The episode this week is Alligator Dundee and Stars in Their Eyes. What was our predictions again?
Well, for Alligator Dundee, if I do remember, you predicted Paul Hogan himself would show up and... he would try and capture Luigi, thinking he was a sewer gator.
Yes.
And that's not... you were closer than usual, let's say.
I've been pretty close.
That's true, fair enough. That's when I don't spoon feed them to you. But in this case, actually, you were half right, I think. Because it wasn't Paul Hogan, and the alligator wasn't Luigi.
Is it Paul Hogan or is it...
Paul Hogan was the actual Crocodile Dundee actor.
Okay.
And this episode originally aired September 19th, 1989.
So, should we get into it?
Let's get into it.
Should we go down to the sewers to get into this episode?
Are we back in the sewers?
Well, this episode happens in the sewers.
Yeah, so are they just in, the corner of their plumbing shop basement? Is this what's in the room with the void?
Do they just have a stairway to the sewers?
Or is it like in the new Super Mario Brothers movie where they just find their way to the sewers?
You know what? I don't know.
I'm guessing it's just the corner of the building. It's a different corner than the one we usually see in the basement.
It's the void.
Maybe it's to the left of the void. You turn right, there's the void. You turn left, broom closet, sewer entrance.
Okay. So they're in the sewer, doing something, when their good old pal, the Ratigator... The Ratigator?
The Ratigator. It took until the end for me to be able to hear it clearly.
Shows up, panicked, because there's a monster chasing after them. That monster? We find out near the end what that monster was. But luckily, a friendly Australian shows up.
Alligator Dundee. It's exactly what you think.
Except, it wasn't Paul Hogan.
No, and we didn't think it would be. Or at least I didn't think it would be.
I had some hope.
The Ratigator's an interesting puppet. It kind of looks like the face of a mid-90s Chuck E. Cheese. Like with the wide...
Yes.
Yeah. Attached to a big shaggy green thing, like a bodysuit or whatever. I mean, it's a puppeted alligator, but with big cartoon eyes and almost like mouse ears off the sides.
Yeah, the rat part.
Yeah, exactly. That's what makes it a Ratigator.
And it pops out through a sewer grate with busted bars.
Yeah, that's how they feed him.
Yeah. Tuna sandwiches, which we'll get into later. So, at this point, the episode starts playing, the Super Show, and after the episode, we come back to Alligator Dundee trying to teach Mario and Luigi on what to do.
Yeah, preparing the trap.
Getting ready for everything.
Taking a brief moment to tell us to watch these clips from The Legend of Zelda. And then Alligator Dundee starts singing Watching me Zelda, to the tune of Waltzing Matilda.
I thought I was watching Miss Zelda, but
No.
I must have just been mishearing it. It is currently 12:22 in the morning, and we have not yet slept. So, prepare for a late night, fun joyride of us being sleep deprived this entire episode. And the next episode afterwards.
I still think we're going to do a better job than we did on episode 3. I put that out pretty recently, and I was not pleased with the result.
Remember, it doesn't have to be published. It just has to be perfect.
I'll keep that in mind. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So as we rejoin the Mario Brothers and Alligator Dundee, who's come to the big city to catch this giant monster to make himself famous, they concoct the plan. The brothers will be ready with a net, and Alligator Dundee is going to lure the Ratigator to the grate with a tuna sandwich.
And if the alligator does not come peacefully...
Sorry, I'm listening to cat scratches in the corner, but I don't know where they're coming from. It sounded like...
Yeah. It's probably upstairs.
That makes sense.
Alright, so getting back
to start again. The Mario Brothers are standing by with a net.
We get a brief synopsis that if the monster doesn't come peacefully, Alligator Dundee is just gonna thumb to neck motion.
Yeah. After he's sharpening his "that's not a spoon, it's a knife," and they ask him what he's going to do with that big letter opener.
Yeah. Because
you got to make it easy for the kids watching. So they decide they're going to take care of Dundee themselves so that he won't catch their pet, the Ratigator.
So when the Ratigator is chasing Dundee back, supposedly.
Yeah.
Very slowly, because he gets out of the sewer with the grace of a geriatric dog trying to climb up a stair.
Just one.
Yes.
And they cover him in the net very slowly and carefully. Like when they were trying to open that crate Dracula was in, but trying to make it look like it was a lot harder than it was.
Yes.
But, the misunderstandings are all sorted out. They tell Dundee that the Ratigator's their pet. He says if they had just told him that from the beginning, he wouldn't have bothered.
And they just came to the city to make it big. And the brothers make a joke about it making a good movie. An Australian coming to New York to catch a monster and fall in love with a girl. And that's where he changes his name. Can you guess what he changes it to?
To Ratigator Dundee.
The listeners were supposed to guess, John.
Oh, I'm sure they did.
Oh. If you have guessed Ratigator Dundee, please send us email at theexcusemesupershow@gmail.com. Or is it just Excuse Me Super Show? I think it's just excusemesupershow@gmail.com.
If you've seen Ratigator Dundee in your neighborhood, please notify the authorities.
He is a wanted man for many reasons.
Even if he is a favorite son.
Which, so good news. He was played by Paul Elder. Paul has been in not a lot. You might recognize him from Diagnosis Murder as Anthony in one episode in 1999.
They were still making Diagnosis Murder in 19... Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
You might know him from the Super Mario Super Show for one episode.
Oh, who'd he play?
It says Alligator Dundee, but I'm pretty sure it's Ratigator Dundee.
Yeah, well, IMDb sometimes gets vandalized.
And his debut was as the wine captain.
The wine captain.
in Target Favorite Son, which is listed on IMDb as Favorite Son, but all the advertisement I could find about it was Target Favorite Son. A political drama about vice president candidate being shot on a campaign trail.
It's kind of like how the Jim Carrey, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, in half the commercials it would just say The Grinch.
Yes.
And it would just show the Grinch logo. And then in other instances it would have the How the Stole Christmas pasted around it.
Yeah.
I always wondered if that was like an American commercial versus Canadian commercial thing, and I never got an answer. Or if it's just one of those, it's easier to have the narrator say, The Grinch, at the end of the commercial. But enough about Jim Carrey, let's talk about Paul Elder.
We're done talking about Paul Elder.
Alright.
It was a little bit harder to find anything else about him, because there's also a famous author named Paul Elder. I don't believe they are related. But, because of that, when I'm trying to find any information...
Excuse me. I got one more coming. My cat pills are wearing off. Okay.
Because of that, whenever I was looking for information on Paul Elder, all that would come up is books that the other Paul Elder wrote. Unless they're the same Paul Elder, I couldn't get a definition on that.
That's okay. We're still not sure about the Shelleys, who were the freaking Bible writers for this show.
Alright. So, what did you think of Alligator Dundee?
As a person or as an episode?
First one, then the other. Don't tell me in which order.
Alright. Kind of dry.
Now the other one.
He was okay. No, it was an okay one.
Bottom third.
Bottom third, I'd say. The Ratigator puppet was neat.
I've
I've been enjoying the puppetry in this show between the
Edison.
I think that's just a guy.
I'm sorry, but he's wearing too much of a costume for us to just consider him just a guy.
Is Cousin It a puppet?
Yes.
Well then.
Okay.
Cousin It is a fursuit.
So is Edison a fursuit?
No, Edison's just a guy. Anyway, but the Ratigator is neat. I've been enjoying, the puppeted stairs, the puppeted furnace. There's a lot of fun little practical touches in this show. All done extremely cheaply. But this is another one where they couldn't get the real 80s guest star, so they got a guy who pretends to be him. Another is a bad way to put it, because this might be the first one.
I think this is
But I don't think it's the last, where they bring in someone who's like a celebrity.
Wait, no, there was one before.
Which one?
They brought in someone who was like an orphan.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's exactly the same thing.
Yes, it is. A fucking fraud. We do not support fraud on this show.
Tell that to our sponsor. But anyway, no, it was alright. Not great. It was just, hey, look, this guy is pretending to be Crocodile Dundee. And that's it. We gotta stop him. What about you?
Like you said, I like the puppet. The puppet actually might break it into the middle third.
You think?
I'm sure there's 4 other live action segments that I like less.
The Orphan, Magic Johnson, the original Marianne and Luigina, where Lyle shows up. Because that was a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah.
The joke was, hey, it's our actors in dresses. What you looking up?
I was looking up ratings and then realized that we only rate the cartoon.
Yeah, we've only just started collating where we think these go this session.
Yeah.
But that's okay. We'll keep it as vague as bottom third.
Yeah. It was okay. It could have been much, much worse.
Yeah, he could have just been in their medicine cabinet.
Yeah.
Or it could have been the real Paul Hogan slumming it, which almost kind of would have been worse.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? The resemblance was there.
Yeah, for a second I was like, is that? I don't think it is, but is that?
He had a very similar nose.
Yeah.
But I think that's a good place to call it.
Yeah.
So, let's get into the real meat of this. Just jumping in here to say if you're listening to us on YouTube, please give the video a like and be sure to subscribe to the channel. Every 2 weeks you get the podcast, and every Wednesday you get a YouTube short that's one of our best of clips. You can also find those on TikTok at Excuse Me Super Show. And if you're listening to us on a podcast service that lets you give ratings, please give us 5 stars. Help us get up the charts and find even more listeners. The cartoon is Stars in Their Eyes. Now, we were trying to figure out in our predictions if it was going to be a space thing or movie star thing. It was a space one. Not a direct riff on any particular space thing, I don't believe. Just more of a
General
genre
spoof.
Yeah. The Mario crew are in a rocket ship.
Going towards planet Quirk?
Not on purpose originally. They were on their way to... Where the hell were they on their way to?
I thought they were on their way to planet Quirk.
I guess they were.
Because it says the good news is we're going to make it to planet Quirk. The bad news is it's going to be a crash landing.
Yeah, but he checks that by saying, let's find out where in the Mushroom Universe we are.
Yeah.
Oh no, they were on the run from Koopa and his space troopas already. But it turns out they crash on a planet that he's already at. Anyway, they get hit by an asteroid and they're forced to crash land on the planet Quirk. I'm going to say Quark, but it's Quirk.
Yes.
And the Quirks are little long-nosed, green and yellow, snarky-looking guys.
Dual long-nosed.
Yeah.
It's not just one, but 2.
And they all talk like this, sort of, but with that, a bit more of a filter, more like this. But electronically, zzz. You've heard it in a few other cartoons. Part of the damage from the thing jettisons all their fuel and a bunch of their supplies, which is like the same shirt 3 times. And they, so when they land, they're hoping to get some supplies and refill Mario's pasta cupboard. But the big problem is they land on Mouser, who's already there.
Astro Mouser, I think?
Astro Mouser. Yeah, he gets a nickname too in this one. Well, I guess technically he was Sheriff Mouser in Butch Mario.
Yes.
But I mean, that's pushing it. But anyway, yeah. They land on him, Wicked Witch style. He comes out flat as a pancake, including his bubble helmet, which they're all wearing now. But first, yeah. As they leave the ship, they find they're starting to float away due to the gravity difference, so Mario and Luigi hand them some plumbing tools to act as ballast.
How does Toad use his plumbing tool?
He crams it right down the front of his pants in an image that you almost certainly will be seeing as the thumbnail for this episode.
If you're watching on YouTube.
And I almost blinked when he did it, but I'm so glad I didn't. Oh. He looked so happy about it, too. But anyway, everyone's weighed down. And yeah, Mouser starts throwing similarly flattened bombs at the crew.
Is this the start of Paper Mario?
Paper Mouser, the 1,000-year door. And they hop into a raft full of whatever it is they're mining on the planet. They call it moon rocks. And they find out that the planet is being subjugated by, quote, Moon Man Koopa.
Yes, good old Moon Man Koopa. He's a good guy. He treats everyone fairly and never has had anyone actually dislike him a day in his life.
Mm-hmm. So they get to the Quirk factory and
hide in the moon rocks.
They hide in the moon rocks, but first they get past the guards by disguising themselves as Quirks by sticking the 2 fake Quirk nose antenna proboscises on the front of their space helmets.
Saying something like, even my mother wouldn't recognize me.
Yeah, well, we know that Mario's Mamma Mia is just Lou Albano in a dress, so...
She definitely would.
Yeah. Perspective is everything. But as they get in there, they think they've fooled the guards hiding among the moon rocks, but a suspiciously smiling Koopa Troopa pushes a button that diverts them right in front of Moon Man Koopa, who instantly turns on his giant magnet on a crane, TM, which hoists all the crew up by the plumbing paraphernalia in their pants.
We didn't listen to the cover song.
That's because it's just a bit further in. Oh, I see. You mean, yeah, we didn't actually. Do you want to pause here and do that?
Actually, let's finish off this part and then come back.
Yeah, that probably makes more sense. But anyway, Moon Man Koopa, that's a struggle.
Better than Moon Man Bowser.
Ooh, that would be harder to say. Has everyone shackled up by their feet, and they're building chains
to enslave everyone.
Yeah, but they're making the chains by hitting them with wrenches?
Yeah.
Or were they supposed to be trying to break their own chains, but it wasn't communicated by the script properly? What was it they were making? Were they making the chains?
I think they were making the chain from a machine that was already making the chain.
And they were just whacking the chains with their mallets and wrenches.
I think it's actually supposed to be imagery for not knowing what your job is and just doing the best you can.
Like the Korean animators.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, it turns out that Koopa hadn't actually been chaining up the Quirks until the Mario crew arrived and almost incited a rebellion. But they find that the Koopa controls the chains electronically by hitting the same button on his remote with two buttons over and over again. And they all close at once. So they'd all been wearing their chains unopened, but still wearing them because the poor Quirks are so downtrodden and defeated that they just don't bother. And Mario tries to incite them to rebellion, only for Koopa to swoop in and actually close the chains. But pretty soon, they find that the chain's electronic components are disrupted by the rhythmic banging of their tools.
So is this an analogy for workers' rights?
Well, it's an analogy for workers' wrongs, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But they manage to snap open a few of the Quirks' chains, but can't get them to... What's the best way to put this? They can't incite the change that they want to see in the Quirks. And so it's up to... how is it... Hang on. Now I'm drawing a blank as to where it transitions from here.
So from here, they go to escape with the equipment and the gas.
That's
that
right.
The Quirks have gotten them.
They run to another Quirk raft that's been... It's the same one, but apparently now it's full of their stuff.
Even though it looks just like moon rocks. But as they're going, trying to get away, the magnet TM has come back. And the Quirks throw themselves at the chain, or at the magnet, to block out the magnetic field by using their chains? Which might work.
It is an electromagnet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. All the Quirks, they sacrifice themselves by, clogging the magnet. Like when you stick the magnet in the iron filings and it comes up. It's kind of like that. And so the Mario crew gets away in their ship, which apparently has also been repaired off screen. And they are intercepted by Koopa in space. And
Moon Man Koopa in space.
Yes, I'm sorry. Is he still Moon Man Koopa when he's off the moon? Not that he was on the moon.
Yeah, he was on Quirk. Moon Man refers to where he came from. Earth.
Earth's moon. That's why he's so cheesy. Anyway, the two rocket ships have a dogfight, and at first it seems to be going well for the Marios, but before long, Mario has to start shooting out pasta from his giant vat of spaghetti in order to pair properly and deflect Koopa's meteoric balls. Which Mario said, not me.
You also said that, but...
Yeah, but that's because it caught me off guard. The pun is supposed to be meteoric balls, as in meatballs, as in spaghetti and meatballs, but yes,
He is also very meteoric.
As
in
far
his
as Mario
balls.
is concerned, King Koopa has meteoric balls. Which, fair. But anyway, as King Koopa is chasing after them anyway...
His ship opens its mouth.
Yeah,
Beak.
his ship has a beak. Like the rocket at the beginning of Thunderball.
Yeah.
Only beakier. And Mario and crew have to eject all their supplies again in order to be light enough to stay ahead of him. Including Mario ejecting his emergency spaghetti.
Into the mouth, beak.
Yeah, and it looks like it's in case of emergency, break glass. But then Princess Toadstool comes in and hits it because Mario can't do it with the hammer. But all it does is act like she's pushing a button.
Yeah.
Maybe they couldn't show breaking glass on a kid's cartoon. Sometimes that happens.
Broken glass, broken glass, broken glass, broken
glass. That junk was still my best birthday ever. But I'm trying to figure out how it leads to the Snork song.
Oh, yeah, so they're still not quite able to escape.
So they plot a low course above the factory, and the Quirks realize that when music could stop the controls of their chains, it might do the same for Koopa's spaceship. So they all aim their snork beaks to the sky and sing the theme song from The Legend of Zelda, which I'm definitely going to drop in right here.
Oh no, the poor Quirks! Koopa will enslave them for good!
If this worked on Koopa's shackle system, maybe it'll work on his rocket. We can do it, guys! A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4!
Those Quirks will Moon Man Koopa for a galactic looper.
But it does work. It shorts out Koopa's ship and he flies crazily off course into the cosmos, where he'll never ever be found because he's floating in the infinite void, and he certainly won't be back next week to be like a Viking or something.
This is Moon Man Koopa. There's gotta be another Koopa.
Oh, you think every Koopa is different?
Yes, every Koopa is different. Every episode where they refer to Koopa as something different, that is a different Koopa.
Is it a branching alternate timeline, or just one of those cartoon family trees where all the ancestors are the same?
Get me a corkboard, some thumbtacks, and yarn in 4 different colors of red and 2 blues.
Someone get Ken Penders on the phone because we got a family tree of knuckles and hats. But anyway. Oh no, and the camera just irises out as he flies off into space.
Yes.
There was no closing joke. Not that we needed one, because the pasta power counter went up again. So you can't top that. That's the highlight of the episode, except for Toad shoving a wrench down his crotch. This one hit us in a silly way because it is a weird episode. And not just in the usual goofy way. This one just kind of... They're in space now.
Space. Coast to coast. Wait.
Oh yes, I get you.
We are going to take a quick break and be back after we watch the cover song.
Yeah, which we try to do before we review it and we forgot.
That is very unprofessional of us, and we will dock it from our pay.
Okay, we're back. And we just watched this episode's cover song, which is Chains, originally by the Cookies, and also covered by the Beatles on their first album. And we'll have a clip from it right here, courtesy, of course, of the Super Mario Bros. Super HQ channel on YouTube. Links in the description.
There must be a way to break these chains. Luigi, the Shackles electronic system reacts to the anvil sound.
Really?
Yeah! All together! Tap!
Yes, sir.
Hey! Our music shorted out Koopa's electronic shackle system.
So, do you think that this cover song added to this episode?
No, I think this one was one of the more throwaway ones. They said, "Hey, what do we? Chains. They're hitting their chains. Let's. There's a song called Chains, right? Let's do Chains."
Someone find me a song called Chains. I don't care what it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean it was fine. It's a cover of an old girl group song from the '60s, and it sounded like it. It could have been "Hey, Mr. Postman," or "Please, Mr. Postman." It would have made less sense, but it would have been better. But yeah, overall, this was a weird one. I kind of liked it for how off the wall it got. Again, it wasn't sticking to any one parody, at least not that I can think of. It was more of a, standard space planet show. Bubble helmets and rocket ships.
Oh, and there was no additional spacesuit with the bubble helmet. It was just they put a fishbowl on their head.
Yeah, it's the traditional, we just need air. That's what's missing.
Yeah.
Not protection from the sun's... Pardon me. Not protection from the sun's harmful cosmic rays that'll strip the flesh from your bones. And the tiny bits of light speed traveling space dust that'll rend you asunder. And the fact that it's gonna freeze your ass.
Oh, and the fact that you'll run out of air in 17.8 minutes.
And it's going to get pretty stuffy in about half that time in your fishbowl. How about you? How'd you like this one?
You know what? I also really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It was good. It was fun. It's one of the better Mario ones.
I'm not quite sure I'm with you. I think this is going to be a bit of a divergence. This one bounced off me a little. Again, I got a kick out of how weird it was, but as you noted from my synopsis, I kept hitting the wall trying to actually remember it.
Yeah, but that's not a bad thing, because it means you can watch it again and enjoy it the same way you did before.
Maybe next month. In the meantime, let's get into the details here. Writers was a team. Jack Hanrahan and Eleanor Burian-Moore.
Have we heard those names before?
No, I thought I had, but it turns out they do write again for the show, but they haven't yet.
Oh.
And they haven't written separately for the show. They're a writing pair, not always a pair, but very often when it comes to these 80s deep cartoons. So I'll just list off some. Jack Hanrahan, the original 60s Birdman cartoon, as in what would be adapted into Harvey Birdman years and years and years later. The 60s Fantastic Four cartoon with Herbie instead of the Human Torch. Wrote a few episodes of that.
Like Herbie the Love Bug?
No, Herbie the Robot.
Oh. That turns into the Love Bug.
No.
Why did you mention Herbie then? There can be only one.
Oh, it's an acronym and I can't remember what it is, but it's like H.E. so on. He wrote some episodes of Get Smart, the live-action series with Don Adams. And then he wrote a few episodes of Inspector Gadget, where Don Adams and later Maurice LaMarche voiced the character. He was one of the writers for all the episodes of the 80s Dennis the Menace cartoon, all 65 episodes. And then later on he would write both cartoons in the Gadget Boy series. Are you familiar with that?
No.
It was sort of the last gasp of Inspector Gadget, where Gadget was like rebuilt or replaced with a little kid Inspector Gadget. And then his sidekick was the redhead named Heather. It's called Gadget Boy and Heather.
And was Gadget Boy still the inept, bumbling idiots that Inspector Gadget was? And Heather being the one that actually did all the work?
Not to the same degree. In this, it was more because he was a kid.
Oh.
I only saw it a couple times. It aired on, here it would have been Family Channel. Which is sort of our analog to the cable version of the Disney Channel that was in the States. And I think I saw previews for it on the Shout Factory DVDs, like the Super Show. That, they all cross-advertise each other. But then Eleanor Burian Moore also wrote for Inspector Gadget. And a lot of these are them as a duo, but some aren't, so, which is why I've been separating them. And, these are long lists. I'm just cherry-picking here. Inspector Gadget, the new Archies from the 80s, when they reinvented the Archies as middle schoolers.
La-di-da, you had enough to cherry-pick for your people.
Yeah, I know. Beverly Hills Teens. A lot of the same shows as O'Hanrahan. Or not O'Hanrahan, just Hanrahan. Jack Hanrahan. That's a hard one.
I prefer O'Hanrahan.
I know, it seems like it should be. And 3 episodes of, again, personal favorite, Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd Century.
We're really going to have to watch that.
Again. For me, again. For you, the first time, sort of.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've watched it within the last 4 years. When I bought the DVD.
Fair.
Alright. Additional voice actors. John Stalker, once again, as Mouser. In addition to being Toad. Still no mustache, so it looks like that was part of his sheriff outfit.
Which is kind of interesting, because I don't remember too many sheriffs with French
waiter mustaches.
Yeah. And there's too many French waiters that the sheriff that was playing them got rid of their French waiter mustache.
Yeah. And also, Greg Morton, who once again elevates from the additional voices pool, voices the Quirks. Which, if you've seen his stand-up things where he does all the impressions, is definitely not outside the realm of possibility.
Yes.
So, how would you rate Stars in Their Eyes?
Ooh. I'm gonna risk having our ad space pulled on this one. And give it 7 crotch wrenches out of 10.
Wow. Swimming in 7s lately. 7 crotch wrenches.
It hit me in all the right spots. And it just made me feel something in my crotch wrench.
Very good. No, this one bounced off me. This is a 5 for me. I'm going to give it 5 snork stocks out of 10. And they're not snorks. But snorks were the ones with the...
I'm pretty sure the snorks were the ones with the...
No. With the noses. The funnel noses.
I'm pretty sure they were the ones with funnel noses.
Okay, very good.
You couldn't see it, but John was doing the nose motion, and I to respond because this is definitely only an audio medium.
Mm-hmm.
I did the ear motion. Don't ask what the ear motion is, because you will not know.
So anyway, 5 of those, whatever they were, even their mama.
Stocks?
Snork stocks. With an LK. Stonks. Yeah, no, I got a kick out of this episode, but it really, really just sort of hit me the wrong way, I think.
And you see, it hit me all the right ways, constantly.
With its crotch wrench.
Yeah. Which Mario then used to free himself from his chains. Remember. This is a kid's show.
The workers of the world will eventually rise up.
Through the Legend of Zelda theme.
Yeah. You know, if there was a marching anthem that we needed, I can think of worse. If you want to tell us about your crotch wrench, you can reach out to the show by leaving a comment on the YouTube version on our YouTube channel, Excuse Me Super Show.
You can reach us at our email at excusemesupershow@gmail.com.
And reach out to the show on Twitter/X. Give us a follow at Excuse Me Sup Show.
You can also time travel back to the year 2006, stand outside of our old high school that we will not name, and shake our hands as we exit the high school.
Technically, we didn't go to high school together.
We definitely did not, but they don't know that.
They do now.
Alright, so let's get into what's the next episode.
Yeah, I'll feed you the titles and you feed me your nonsense. Okay, here we go. The live action segment next time is just called Dance.
Alright, dance. It's probably going to be an episode for the live action where they've been invited to a wedding, but neither one of them knows how to dance. So they've hired a professional dancer. I don't know, Elvis Stoico?
An ice dancer?
Yes.
Oh, I guess those are translatable skills. Still, I think you're probably on the right track. It's in that they probably need to learn how to dance.
Yeah.
Just like they wanted to learn how to play basketball from Magic Johnson.
However,
instead, Luigi got sent to the Shadow Realm.
to box uncomfortably.
For a long time. But the cartoon next time is called Jungle Fever.
This is going to be the introduction of Donkey Kong.
Oh shit, it's time.
And it's actually just going to be the whole gimmick of Donkey Kong throwing things down the hill and Mario having to jump over it to save Princess Toadstool.
He's finally here, performing for you. It's the first member of the DK crew.
Oh.
I don't think it's going to be Donkey Kong. But I think when I was, I might have imprinted a bit of the synopsis when I was digging up the titles, so I'm not going to say what I think it is. So we'll leave it at that. And we'll find out how accurate you are next time. But until next time, I've been John.
I'm still Aaron.
See, it's hard to do the outro because it's supposed to be until next time everybody do the Mario, but I never have a clean lead into the names. But we'll see how... Oh, Christ.
Alright, everyone. I'm Aaron.
See, you almost said until next time, too. That being said, I'm John.
I'm Aaron.
And until next time, everybody... Do the Mario!
Hello, I'm Aaron from the Excuse Me Princess Super Show, and if you have made it past this episode, congratulations, this is episode 12. Our sponsor has decided to pull his ad space again from this episode due to crotch wrenches.
It's a sensitive topic for him.